Hey guys, happy day to you. My name is DrSharnael Wolverton Sehon, and I wanted to talk to you guys today a little bit about words, images, frequency, and the power of all those things, and give you even some examples. Of course, we know that there's life and death in the power of the tongue, but I'm going to take it to a whole different level. And a few examples that I'm talking about today. Some of you are familiar with muscle testing. And one of the times that I went to go see Dr. Lucky in Mississippi, I had some lab work done, and it came back that my vitamin D levels were very low. So when he was muscle testing me on like how much vitamin D to take, and he came and brought the bottle to me when it was just in my field. When he tested me, I went weak. And I didn't necessarily suddenly, I don't mean I went weak like, oh my God, I passed out. But when he was testing me, I wasn't strong to even be able to test. And so he had to actually build me back up to get back in my body to test me again, because my frequency dropped out just by holding the bottle of the vitamin D. Now, that makes absolutely no sense to the average person, and even to us. When we were sitting there, we were like, if I require vitamin D and me holding it is getting me like weaker, then what's going on here? And of course, we could say that it was the product itself. Like if you're in a grocery store and you're testing, there's lots of times that you could test different supplements or whatever, and maybe one company is better than another company, and you may test really terrible for one company because they're crap and it's garbage products. But in this case, we knew that it wasn't garbage products. This is really good, high level products. And so as I'm holding it, he came up with the idea, like, let's go through each of the words on just the back of the label. And I don't know how that even came to his mind, but when he did say that, it registered with me. And when he went through, and we found out that it was made in Ecuador. Now, he tested me one word at a time. And I'd be strong, 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 strong. And when I got to the word Ecuador, I literally went weak again, and he had to get me back to where I was back in my body again. Now, for me, Ecuador is a great place, and it's also a place where I found out that I was really, really sick at the time, and it was quite a surprise to me, a little bit of shock. And I ended up being in the hospital for several weeks over there with Gary Young, dealing with black mold, and it was very traumatizing in a lot of ways. It was a gift that I was actually there for him to be there personally to help me through that, and to have the staff and the hospital that knew how to do that compared to what they would have done here in the States. And yet, just not knowing that I was even sick, and then realizing that I am, and just not speaking the language, and being in a foreign country, and being away from my family for that long a time, and not having really a whole lot of, I did get to meet some great people. Stacy Cambrell and some other people were in the hospital with me. Dr. Francis was there. And I learned a little Spanish, and some things happened. I learned a lot. Looking back now, I can say that if I had not gone through that, then I wouldn't have been able to walk myself out of what happened in 2016 at all. I wouldn't have a grid for it. I wouldn't have known what was actually involved in saving my life. And so, but at that moment when he tested me, this is before I had that perception. And remember, perception is everything. And trauma stores in the body. So when he tested me, I went weak, and I had still not cleared that Ecuador experience, even though it was a gift. Now, Bob Stevens would say, any gift not received or perceived is a curse. And that's a whole different video. And I should probably do one on that. But for today, we're going to talk about just this words and words and their power. So when I got cleared of Ecuador, then I was able to use those vitamins, so the supplements, with ease, and even that specific brand, but he had to clear me. Now, I was thinking about that the other day because my husband had been out of town, and he makes fun of me when he comes back home, because when he's out of town, that is an extra study time for me. I'm a studier, I'm a researcher, I have books in every room, I have book stacks next to my bed, all over my desk, I have bookcases in every room of my house, and stacks of books where there aren't even bookcases. And I have to constantly remind myself, okay, no more buying books until you've read the books that you have. And everyone knows that I could read 7 to 10 books at the same time on a regular, and then I'll just finish all of them, and I'll go my next 10 or my next 15 or whatever. I'm just constantly reading, and I read very fast. When my husband goes out of town, when he comes back, there are at least 20 to 30 books in the bed with me. Like, I sleep with the books, usually because I'm studying until I'm so tired that I'm not studying anymore. And why not have them all? Because then I could look at all of them and whatever. So I started thinking about that in relation to just having the supplement in my biofield and causing me to go weak. Because how many times have I thought to myself, wow, I wish that I could just have all the knowledge of these books take an injection or something, and then or just put it next to my head, and then I would just know all the information without actually having to go through and read and underline and dog ear and highlight like I do, which is fun. But I'm just saying, at times, yes, God in us knows everything. And how cool would it be to have that gift to just be like, I know this one now. And at the same time, if words are that powerful, which I've always been a stickler for, like, not even wearing a shirt that said something weird on it that wasn't conscious language, or anything on my tags, or anything on my body, or tattoos, or I know you guys can go think this is overboard, but if I even get like nail polish or anything, I always see what the name of it is before it goes on my body, because I want there to be a positive biofield, and anything on my body is really important. So that being said, if I have 20, 30 books in the bed with me at night, that's a long time for me to sleep with all of that in my biofield and strengthening my biofield and possible downloads, right? I mean, I'll take that. So if we can take things in and out of our field, whether it's people, plants, living things, or dead things, if there's frequency in everything, which there is power in words, life and death, then the actual physical written word is also very powerful. And I can promise you that it is true, that it does affect the strengthening of yourself. Now, when we have these crystal cards, when I created these crystal cards, let me turn this around. One of the things that we tested was, there, is it right? There it is. One of the things that we found fascinating is we kept looking at these cards, and when we test people and find out if whatever was required of them, what they needed, whether it was the actual crystal, or if it was the words, or if it was the decrees, or whatever it was, we found out that if the person had the crystal in hand, then that would immediately affect their biofield. And if they did not have the crystal in hand, then they could actually just hold the card in their hand, whatever it was that they were requiring, and their biofield did the exact same thing as if if it was just the real live crystal. Like, just the image of it, or the words, because it actually does have the words of the crystal on there, would strengthen their bodies just as much as if they were holding the actual live crystal that had frequency itself. So I thought that was really cool too. And you know, there's 80 of these. If you're traveling, you're not going to carry 80 different crystals with you, probably. Although I have been known to travel with 15, 20 books on a regular. My friend tries to get me to do a Kindle, and I'm just like, I have to have real books. And every time we travel, Brian's like, you know, you're not going to be able to read all that the whole time that we're there. And even mentally, I think I probably won't be able to read 15 books on this 3-day weekend that I'm going to be teaching most of the time. But what if I need them? And it's just like, I don't know, on the plane, or what if we get layover and then I could read a bunch. But yeah, so this was interesting. So here we got words on here, but we also have images, words and books. And I also wanted to say this, like, just recently I spoke with the lady, just recently spoke with the lady, and she reminded me, there were two situations, actually. One with, just in this fast that I've been doing, a lot of loss, a lot of things attached to loss have come up. And so I'm resolving a lot of unresolved issues here in this last bit of time. And I realized that there were some things that maybe I haven't dealt with 100% because it was just easier to kind of push it out. And either I stayed busy or just didn't think about it, or just was like, and a couple examples, like I had bought that wellness center to set up for my practice, and then it flooded in 2 months. And literally the building has been sitting there, and anytime anything came up where people were like, hey, I'm thinking about, what about rebuilding, or what about this, and I would just get overwhelmed just to think about it. And you know, there's some things that happened. Some people broke into it here recently, and we had to make the decision, like, we're either going to demo it or we're going to rebuild it. And since the house got tornadoed 4 weeks ago now, we're going to be rebuilding the house. And so we've just decided probably we're not going to be rebuilding a wellness center at the same time we're doing a house right now. So we actually put a for sale sign out, and we're just going to see what happens. But loss came up, right? And so loss with that. And then honestly, I had talked to some friends, and I don't know how it even came up. We were talking about something completely different, and had mentioned the thing about stuff coming up with the fast. I did 27 days of just juicing and water, and the last few days were just water only. And I was like, wow, no one told me about all the emotions that come with this. And when I talked to my friend Sharnael Marsh, she was like, well, what's like the thing? Like, what's the thing that's coming up? And I was like, I miss Gary. And I didn't even realize I was going to say that. Like, it just came out of my mouth, but I did. And she came back, and she, you know, I said, I guess I haven't really 100% resolved that either. And I just miss, like, being able to call him if I just want to call him, or talk to him, or go see him, or meet up with them, or, you know, all the stuff. And she came back and said, well, when's the last time that you talked to him? And again, I know, and yet this is powerful, is we don't really require something physical in front of us, whether it's word or pictures. The same thing works with imagination. Just to see an image of Gary and be able to have a conversation with him, because he is still present, and all of your loved people, everyone that you love and are connected to, are still present and very much in a space where they can communicate and talk to you, and just by thought. And so now, right after that conversation, I literally jumped into another conversation, and this woman was talking about how she was in a court situation, and that she was discussing, she had like the judge's name, and she was already talking to the judge, the picture of the judge, and explaining to him blow by blow everything that was going on energetically by quantum. So by the time the court date came, the judge would already know everything and have a softened heart about the situation. And again, she said that she's done this numerous times, and she's worked with lots of other people who are doing it, and that they've had the best results ever, and didn't even have the best lawyers, but they just took out a picture of the judge and started talking to the judge. And you can do that with anything. I mean, matter of fact, I had a situation where I had someone who had not spoken to me in 25 years, and we had not spoken at all or seen each other at all. And when I talked to Bob about it, he said, you know, there were some things that I needed to clear up with this person. And as soon as I did, that was going to take out some of the snags energetically that were kind of coming up in my field that I wasn't really enjoying. Hey, Milo. Sorry, dogs. And when I went to go talk to him, this person, it didn't work out. It wasn't working at all to be able to talk to this person. Oh my gosh, y'all, hold on. Animal life. And when I called Bob back and said, hey, I've been trying to get in touch with this person, it's just not working out. I don't know how to clear something if the person won't even talk to me. And Bob's response was, everything's energy. Why are you trying to do everything in person? Why don't you just do it on the inside? And so I did. I said everything to the person in my mind as I walked around my neighborhood. And then I laid down, looked up at the stars, and I was like, okay, God, thank you for clearing all this. And literally the phone rang next to my head, 11 o'clock at night, and it was this person calling to say that they would meet with me. So I'm just giving you a few different scenarios here where things don't have to be exact, you know, and things aren't always seen, and things, you know, like even with the vitamins or with having this in the biofield or having, you know, books in your biofield. There's things that are strengthening us and weakening us on a regular basis, and either we can focus, what we focus on, we make room for. And so just be really cautious about what you're thinking. Be really cautious about what is in your field. What are some things that you can do to strengthen yourself? What are some things that you can think about to strengthen yourself? What are some things that you can do to clear? What kind of books are you reading? What kind of things are in your house, or that maybe shouldn't be, or that you're participating in? And just think outside the box today, because there's so much power in everything, and we can as we remember, then we can use some of these tools for our advantage and be the best version of ourselves in the process of that. And image some positive things. Imagination, the word imagination is so powerful, and as we image a nation, we can also image and form in formation. We can bring new transformation with our thoughts, with our feelings, with our words, with the biofield, and we can strengthen ourselves, strengthen our bodies, clear out the biofield through all of these amazing tools of just, it doesn't have to be hard. It can just be easy. So I hope this was helpful and maybe had some things click for you guys today, and some scenarios that you're working in. And definitely would love to have any of your feedback on what's going on with you, and if this has helped you in any way. Next Thursday, I'm actually doing a class live online with Steve Hampton, and we're going to be talking about sound and frequency and crystals and essential oils and singing bowls. We're going to have some live demos, and I'm really, really excited about our partnership and what we're doing to bring to you guys. So you do have to register for that. And then I have another class with Robert Tennyson Stevens coming up in February the 27th. It's a 2-hour workshop where we're going to talk about moving from self-sabotage to success. And that is going to be very interactive. It's not going to be a 30-minute class. This is going to be a very interactive, like Q&A type, examples, demos. We're going to be working all together, whoever's in that group. So that's going to be interesting too. And then if you're here local, Saturday, I will be live in Baton Rouge with several other speakers. There's still tickets available, and I would love to see you guys there in real life. So that is all gonna be about health and natural health, and I will be speaking specifically on the science of miracles. There's a lot of people who are going to be talking about other different things having to do with essential oils and frequency and all that kind of stuff. So I hope to see you guys at one of my next classes, and hope you guys are having a great day. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.